It's like every day, another rapper bites the dust in the hood. Foolio got blasted, didn't even make it out alive. And you wanna know why? Cause these rappers can't stop beefing, turning their lives into a bloodbath. And when Foolio got smoked, some of his rivals didn't just react, they straight up went off the deep end. Here's how these 6 rappers are reacting to Foolio's death, and it'll leave you shook. Charleston White reaction. The beef in Florida's rap scene just got deadlier. Foolio, aka Young Life Julio, was gunned down on his 26th birthday. His death marks another grim chapter in his brutal rivalry with Youngeen Ace. But here's the wild part. Other rappers are actually celebrating his death. Charleston White is among those happy to hear the news.
He was a real demon, and he professed to be a demon. He himself said he was a demon.
During a recent interview with Say Cheese, the interviewer asked Charleston how he was doing, to which he responded that there was always something going on every day. The interviewer mentioned waking up to some breaking news about a well-known troublemaker from Jacksonville, rapper Foolio, also known as Jules Damon, who had professed to be a demon himself. In the gritty world of rap, where fame and danger often go hand in hand, the recent demise of Foolio has sparked intense speculation and debate. Charleston White, known for his outspoken views, didn't hold back in a recent interview. He painted a vivid picture, likening Foolio's life to a perpetual dance with death. Charleston nodded and leaned forward, saying that Foolio had indeed called himself a demon in his songs and interviews. He mentioned that he had gone back to listen to Foolio's lyrics, confirming that the rapper was indeed on what he called demon time.
When you seen the news today, were you shocked?
No. Shocked for what? He worked hard to get yeah.
When the interviewer asked if Charleston was shocked by the news, Charleston scoffed and said there was no reason to be shocked. He explained that Foolio had worked hard to get where he was, just like someone studies hard to become a doctor. He believed that Foolio had earned his place in the streets. The interviewer noted that Charleston and Foolio had some back and forths, and that people were commenting on how Charleston had predicted something would happen to Foolio. Charleston confirmed this, recalling that Foolio had threatened to slap him, an old man, not realizing that Charleston was 53 and that these young rappers were in their early 20s, thinking they were invincible. He compared them to the kids he used to stop from throwing rocks at bums in the projects. Charleston continued, saying that when Foolio had threatened him, he didn't know much about him at first. But after doing some research, he learned more about Foolio and even met Lil B's father through the ordeal. This connection was the good that came out of it, but it also made him pay close attention to Foolio. Charleston said he listened to Foolio's lyrics and watched his interviews, concluding that Foolio wasn't a representation of anything good. He described Foolio as demonic and noted that the rapper even believed in witchcraft.
I went back and listened to that boy. I listened to the lyrics. Hell yeah, he would say that. On Demon Time. Yeah, hell yeah, man.
The interviewer, intrigued, asked about the witchcraft. Charleston explained that Foolio believed it protected him, but he argued that witchcraft couldn't protect anyone from real consequences. He mentioned a conversation with an old friend who had warned him that money and women could lead to trouble, and Charleston prided himself on not chasing either. He shared his mother's advice about needing a vision before anything else. Reflecting on Foolio's life, Charleston said he had listened to the rapper's lyrics and watched his interviews. Even after Foolio had been shot the previous year, he hadn't changed his ways, staying on the same path until it ultimately caught up with him. Adding to the controversy, Charleston hinted at a deeper conspiracy. "You have to wonder," he said, "who benefits from Foolio's death? There's always more to the story in these street wars. Sometimes it's not just rival gangs, but hidden players pulling the strings. Maybe someone higher up wanted Foolio out of the picture for good." The interviewer, visibly taken aback, asked Charleston if he had any theories about who might be behind such a move. Charleston leaned back, a sly smile playing on his lips. "All I'll say is, when the smoke clears, watch who rises in power. The streets have their own way of balancing things, but there's always someone orchestrating the chaos." He even asserted that Foolio was like a man on death row, always on the edge of the abyss. Each day, it seemed he narrowly escaped the inevitable. But despite these close calls, he remained unchanged. No remorse, no reflection on the forces that may have spared him. White's words hinted at a deeper narrative, one that suggested Foolio's fate was not merely a consequence of street violence, but perhaps a manifestation of a darker cosmic reckoning. He spoke of Foolio's risky lifestyle choices, from staying in questionable locations, like the Holiday Inn, to keeping company with dubious individuals. According to Charleston, Julio wasn't just a rapper, he was wrapped up in some dark stuff. Charleston went on to say Julio was like a demonic force and lived with this intense fear that seemed to drive everything he did. It's heavy stuff, right? Charleston pointed out Julio's habit of showing off his location on social media, which, let's face it, is not the smartest move in today's world. He even shared stories about how he used to do that too, until he got a harsh reality check. But Julio, he kept at it, almost like he was was invincible. It's got people wondering if all that bravado was just a front.
Hours before the shooting, Foolio posted on social media about a pool party at an Airbnb.
Now here's where it gets really intense. Charleston didn't hold back about how Foolio treated others, even in death. He accused Foolio of lacking any compassion, mocking those who passed away, a claim that stirred up a lot of controversy. People are split. Some think Charleston's onto something, while others say he's just stirring the pot for attention. Looking back, Foolio's life was filled with drama, from his wild parties to his confrontational online presence. Charleston's take is that Foolio was controlled by dark forces, trapped in a cycle he couldn't break out of. It's deep, right? Whether you buy into all this or not, it's definitely sparked a debate about the darker side of fame and what it really means to live under a spotlight that never turns off. Now, what bothers Foolio's fans is that he said, "God can't let demons live forever." Foolio, despite his talent, confessed he wasn't living large. He wasn't making the money, nor did he alter his habits. It was a recipe for disaster from the start. Then in another video, he seems to be ridiculing Foolio's death. Foolio's lawyer, Louis Fusco, confirmed details of his client's death in a statement he shared on Instagram. He wrote in part, "Mr. Jones had been in Tampa to celebrate his birthday over the weekend. Law enforcement reports indicate that he initially stayed at an Airbnb, but was asked to leave due to exceeding occupancy limits. He subsequently relocated to the Holiday Inn, where he was involved in an incident in the hotel parking lot and reportedly ambushed. While these events involving our client, Mr. Charles Jones, have been disclosed by law enforcement, we are unable to provide further comments at this time until additional details become public record. We kindly request that the privacy of Mr. Jones and his family be respected during this difficult time." And White's reaction to this news was very disturbing. "The Holiday Inn?" he asked emphatically. "What the fuck? Ain't no protection on a nigga at the Holiday Inn. They ain't even got valet parking." From there, he remarked that Foolio works hard to die. So him being so extra involved in his death and spreading negativity against Foolio tells many things which are untold. Nadalak reaction.
Very respectful. The type of people, when I hear about Foolio from other people about I don't like him or whatever like that, I never met that guy.
However, not everyone is as heartless as Charleston. Foolio's death has saddened many of his fans and friends, and they expressed their grievances for his sudden death. The impact of the death of a Jacksonville rapper is being felt by the music community and law enforcement in the area. Foolio, also known as Charles Jones, was more than just headlines. He was respected by many in the music scene. Jacksonville rapper Nadalak fondly remembers him as a respectful person. "When I hear about Foolio from others saying negative things, I never experienced that side of him," Nadalak shared. He recalled the time Foolio came to his studio back in 2018, eager to collaborate, showing a different side to the young rapper. Foolio's rise in popularity over the years was shadowed by the violence that sometimes followed his lyrics. His untimely death at a birthday celebration in Tampa has left a void in the community. Nadalak expressed his sadness, saying, "It's a painful ordeal all the way around. These kids are half my age, and it's heartbreaking to see them taken so soon. They don't get the chance to grow up." The impact of Julio Foolio's death extends beyond his music career, resonating deeply with both the music community and local law enforcement. It's a reminder of the complex realities faced by young artists navigating fame and its consequences. Despite the warnings and efforts from figures like Nadalak and Sheriff T.K. Waters, the message about the dangers of street life often falls on deaf ears among young rappers. Nadalak, who has mentored and advised several up-and-coming artists, laments the challenges in getting through to them. "I've tried to tell these young rappers I work with to watch their actions and their circles, but it's like talking to their parents sometimes," he reflected. "Nobody wants to listen. It's always like, Dad, come on." Sheriff T.K. Waters of Jacksonville echoes this frustration. "They think this stuff is a game," he remarked bluntly. His office has a dedicated unit aimed at steering individuals away from gang involvement. "We're proactive in trying to guide them towards a different path," Sheriff Waters emphasized. "But if they persist in criminal activities, we'll do everything in our power to ensure they face serious consequences, potentially a lifetime in prison." These sentiments highlight the ongoing struggle to steer young talents away from dangerous paths, emphasizing the need for support and guidance within the music community and beyond. Sheriff T.K. Waters of Jacksonville is adamant that the tragic death of Julio Foolio should serve as a stark reminder that the violence associated with the city's drill rap scene isn't glamorous or cool. "It ain't cool now. It's over now," Sheriff Waters asserted. "It's over for him. It's permanent. But the way he died was cool." The Tampa Police Department has confirmed to 2XL Magazine that Foolio was one of 4 people shot during the incident outside the hotel. All we know at this point is around 4:40 this morning, we received a 911 call about a shooting in a parking lot on McKinley and Fowler. 2 cars were shot at and 4 people were shot in total. 3 were transported to hospitals and 1 was pronounced pronounced deceased at the scene, said Joni Lewis, public information officer for the Tampa Police Department. What we have learned, and this is early in the investigation, 2 cars were shot at. The statement continued, saying that police are actively investigating the events leading up to the incident and are working to identify those involved. This is an ongoing investigation, and further information will be released as it becomes available. Meanwhile, Foolio's attorney, L.S. Fusco, informed News 4 Jax that Foolio was celebrating his 26th birthday and initially staying at an Airbnb. However, they were asked to leave by the host due to having too many people, prompting them to relocate to a different location. Unfortunately, Foolio and his friends shared this new location on social media. According to Foolio's attorney, he was ambushed at the Holiday Inn Hotel, where he had rented a room after leaving the Airbnb.
Longtime attorney Louis Fusco, who represents Jones, confirms the rapper was kicked out of an Airbnb, then went to a hotel. That's where investigators believe Jones and his entourage were ambushed.
In case you're not familiar with Foolio's backstory, he was a rising star in the rap scene from Jacksonville, Florida, known for his significant social media presence. He had over 1 million followers on Instagram and more than 600,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel. However, Foolio was also notorious for his intense public feud with fellow Florida rapper Youngeen Ace. This conflict wasn't just personal, it stemmed from a long-standing rivalry between their respective crews, Foolio's KTA and Ace's ATK.
The ATK gang, investigators say this organization is connected to a string in Jacksonville.
There's many names for ATK. Ace's top one, 9 people, potentially responsible for.
The animosity between the two crews had been simmering for years, escalating dramatically in 2017 when Foolio's 17-year-old cousin Zan Brown was targeted. Shortly after, DeAndre Thomas, an associate of Youngeen Ace, was charged in connection with the incident. This event triggered a series of tragic events between 2018 and 2021. A lot of rappers talk crazy in the booth, but never really live that life. But Julio Foolio is the opposite. He sparked one of the deadliest wars in rap history and survived 4 shootouts. Yet, most fans have no idea how wild his story truly is. Foolio came up on the north side of Jacksonville, in one of the most active areas of the city called 6 Block. He told Cam Capone News that he lost his first homie at just 15 years old, and by the time he was 20, he had already lost 15 friends to the streets. After being kicked out of school in the 9th grade, Foolio was sent to an alternative school in rival territory. On his first day at the new school, someone from the rival neighborhood was killed while waiting for the bus. Foolio started dissing them all over social media. Many people at school believed Foolio had something to do with the hit, leading to a fight over the incident. Throwing hands is one thing, but after the last bell rang, the situation took a wild turn. Foolio hopped on the bus, but the ops were following him. While he was walking down the street, someone started shooting at him and his homies. A bullet hit Foolio in the leg and knocked his hip out of place, forcing him to crawl away while the shooter continued firing. Foolio made it to the front yard of a woman in the neighborhood and asked for help, but she told him to get off her property and refused to assist him. He passed out and woke up surrounded by cops and EMTs, then blacked out again and woke up in the hospital. The ops weren't the only ones who thought he was involved in the M that occurred that morning. The police started questioning him about the situation as well. In response to Foolio's death, Sheriff Waters has mobilized air team, community response units, and gang task forces to closely monitor individuals associated with Foolio. We're focusing on the areas where we know they live, he stated firmly. If we have to follow them one by one, that's what we'll do. Nadalak, drawing from his 3 decades in the music industry, has a sobering message for the young rappers he mentors. Violence for the sake of gaining clout isn't worth the risk. They're fighting over crumbs, he remarked, highlighting the futility of such conflicts. Sheriff Waters also emphasized the collaborative efforts with agencies from neighboring areas to mitigate potential violence. We stay in constant communication with other agencies when we know members of rival groups might cross paths, he explained. This proactive approach aims to prevent escalation and ensure public safety. These measures underscore the ongoing efforts to address the complexities of street culture intertwined with music fame, urging for caution and responsible choices among rising artists. Spinabin's reaction.
Come shop and get some of these leaky pads, man. This that exclusive shit that's gonna put you in the sky. You gonna feel like you died with his ass. No cap.
So yet another person who literally called Foolio's death a victory. Right after his death, Spinabins and Wapawita Chapa immediately reposted an old tweet by King Von on their Instagram story. And the tweet was, "Game over, we won stupid ass." The reposting of this old tweet by Spinabins and Wapawita Chapa immediately after Foolio's death is highly controversial and suggests a potential connection to the incident. The timing of the repost is crucial here. By sharing this particular tweet right after Foolio's passing, these rappers could be interpreted as celebrating his death and even alluding to their involvement. The tweet itself itself, originally posted by King Von, is already provocative. Phrases like "game over," "we won" indicate a rivalry and suggest that Von, and by extension Spinabens and Wapa Witta Chopa, believe they had achieved some sort of victory over Foolio. The added "stupid ass" further emphasizes their disdain and could be interpreted as a direct insult towards Foolio. By sharing this tweet, Spinabens and Wapa Witta Chopa may be implying that they align themselves with King Von's sentiments. It could suggest they shared a similar desire to see Foolio defeated and that they are pleased with the outcome. While it is not definitive proof of any direct involvement, it certainly adds fuel to the fire of speculation and controversy. Spinabens is facing intense scrutiny and backlash from the public due to his eerie reaction to the death of fellow rapper Foolio. His decision to repost an old tweet celebrating Foolio's demise has sparked outrage and raised questions about his involvement and overall character. Social media users have been quick to criticize Spinabens for what they perceive as a callous and disrespectful response to the tragic news. Many are expressing disgust at his apparent lack of empathy and the insensitivity of celebrating another person's death. The public is questioning Spinabens' morals and values, with some even going as far as to call for a boycott of his music. One ex-user wrote, "Y'all making it too easy to connect the dots." Another one added, "This is weird, ain't gotta lie." The backlash highlights a growing concern within the hip-hop community and beyond about the normalization of violence and the glorification of rivals' deaths. Spinabens' actions have become a lightning rod for these discussions, with people demanding more accountability and awareness from those in the public eye. Some are speculating about Spinabens' true intentions behind the repost. Theories are circulating that he may have intended to send a message to his peers or rivals, using Foolio's death as a means to assert dominance or send a warning. This has further tarnished his reputation, as it suggests a manipulative and opportunistic mindset during a time of tragedy. While Spinabens has not yet publicly addressed the backlash, his silence is only adding to the controversy. Many are awaiting an explanation or apology, believing that he needs to take responsibility for his actions and the potential impact they may have on an already volatile situation. 23 KB reaction.
Okay, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man. KB sound like he's standing on a little business for Jada Youngin now.
The controversial actions of 23 KB, who posed with a gun in front of the Holiday Inn where rapper Foolio was shot and killed, have sparked a swift and intense reaction from the online community. By taking and sharing this photo just a day after Foolio's death, KB has found himself at the center of a backlash that calls into question his motives, respect for the deceased, and overall character. Internet users have not held back in their criticism, with one commenter labeling KB's actions as nasty work, emphasizing the insensitivity of posing at the scene of a recent tragedy. The use of laughing emojis further conveys the commentator's disdain for KB's behavior, suggesting that it is distasteful and tone-deaf. The accusation of clout chasing is a common theme in the responses to KB's photo. This term implies that he is attempting to gain attention and boost his own reputation by associating himself with Foolio's death. It suggests that KB is exploiting a tragic event for personal gain, which is viewed as highly disrespectful and opportunistic. The online community's reaction also reflects their protectiveness over Foolio's legacy and the raw emotions surrounding his untimely passing. Many feel that KB's actions are a direct insult to Foolio's memory and that he is capitalizing on the tragedy too soon after it occurred. This incident highlights the ongoing issue of gun violence within the rap industry and how it is perceived and responded to by those within the community. The fact that other users joined in on the criticism, calling out KB's apparent lack of awareness and respect, underscores the unified sentiment against his actions. The question, "Who is he?" also suggests that KB may be relatively unknown, and this controversial gesture could be an attempt to raise his profile, albeit in a negative light. Hours before his death, he thanked his followers for sending their birthday wishes to X. One of his final posts on X said, "God, thank you for allowing me to see another year and to celebrate another birthday. Appreciate all the birthday wishes so far." Later at night, Foolio took to his Instagram story to suggest that the police had shut them out and kicked them out of their Airbnb for allegedly violating property rules by exceeding occupancy limits. Jones's lawyer, Louis Fusco, declared the same in his official statement. Mr. Jones had been in Tampa to celebrate his birthday over the weekend. Law enforcement reports indicate that he initially stayed at an Airbnb, but was asked to leave due to exceeding occupancy limits. He subsequently relocated to the Holiday Inn, where he was involved in an incident in the hotel parking lot and reportedly ambushed. As per Fusco's statement, Foolio left the Airbnb on Saturday night and shifted shifted to the Holiday Inn located nearby. In the early hours of Sunday morning, the rapper was reportedly shot in the parking lot in front of the inn. He was reportedly accompanied by a few others at the time of the shooting, and 3 others were reportedly injured. However, only Foolio died due to the gunshots. Fusco's statement stated that other details could not be revealed at the time of writing. NBC News reported that Tampa police were informed about the shooting a few hours before sunrise. They reportedly found 2 vehicles that were shot at in the parking lot. Jones, aka Foolio, was pronounced dead at the scene, while 3 others were taken to the hospital and were reportedly stable. No arrests have been made in the case yet. However, KB's photo and the subsequent backlash serve as a reminder of the power of social media in amplifying both positive and negative actions. It also underscores the importance of considering the impact of one's behavior, especially when it involves sensitive subjects such as the loss of a fellow artist. Youngin Ace reaction. And if we talk about Youngin Ace's reaction, it was the weirdest one. He seemed to be celebrating Foolio's death. Was it because of their apparent feud? The situation surrounding the death of rapper Foolio has taken a shocking turn with allegations and speculation involving fellow rapper Youngin Ace. In a song titled Do It, Ace seemingly alludes to having some level of involvement in Foolio's death, sparking intense reactions from fans and the online community. The context of the situation is crucial, as described in the text. Foolio had publicly shared his new address at the Holiday Inn hotel, despite warnings from fans telling him not to do so. Unfortunately, this may have inadvertently led to his demise, as he was shot and killed at that very location. Now, with the release of Youngin Ace's song, the lyrics raise eyebrows and prompt speculation about Ace's potential role in the tragedy. In the song, Ace raps, "I told him to do it," followed by specific scenarios such as if he's with his mom, if he's with his baby, or if he's with his girl. These lyrics suggest a level of instruction or encouragement for the fatal act, hence the interpretation of Ace admitting to some involvement. Fans are divided and shocked by this turn of events, with some calling the situation wild and questioning Ace's motives. The song's release so soon after Foolio's death adds to the controversy, leaving many to speculate about the true nature of their relationship and any potential rivalry that may have existed. The interpretation of Ace's lyrics is open to debate, and while some fans may view it as a direct admission, others might argue that it is simply artistic expression or even a metaphor. However, given the timing and the specific references, it has undoubtedly sparked a conversation about the line between artistic freedom and potential incitement or glorification of violence.
Yeah, you could go down and say, okay, you know, Foolio, he didn't take from nobody, whatever else, but you're not around to, you know, to feel that love because you're gone.
Oh, you trying to?
Around the time Foolio was gaining buzz in the city, another rapper named Youngin Ace was also laying down tracks and trying to make a name for himself. Instead of collaborating, they ended up splitting the city in half, leading to dozens of bodies dropping on both sides. The feud allegedly began with the killing of Foolio's cousin Zion Brown in 2017. Zion was at his house when a man named Deontra Thomas threw a brick through the window and started shooting. 2 girls in the house were hit but survived, while Zion tragically did not make it out alive. Youngin Ace and Thomas were close, and in 2018 both were charged with allegedly robbing a weed dealer and shooting. Ace managed to avoid serious legal consequences in the case, but a few months later he experienced a brutal loss that intensified his beef with Foolio. Ace, his brother, and 2 of his best friends went out to eat to celebrate his homie's birthday. As they left the restaurant, a shooter approached and emptied a clip into their car. Ace was hit 8 times, but was the only one who survived. After the incident, Foolio made some disparaging comments on social media. He told SCTV that he didn't feel bad about it because he knew Ace's crew would have done the same if the situation were reversed. Despite dissing Ace's dead friends, Foolio claimed the beef wasn't that deep, but the events that followed proved otherwise. In January 2019, a rapper named Boss Goon was shot and killed outside a nightclub in Jacksonville. He had just been released from prison after serving a decade behind bars, and his father was also injured in the shooting. Boss Goon was the brother of Ace's homie known as Queso, who was allegedly one of the top shooters in Ace's ATK crew. After his brother's death, Queso allegedly retaliated by killing one of Foolio's best friends, further escalating the deadly feud. And this insane rivalry had Julio Foolio locking horns with another enemy, Leaky. Leaky wasn't just a rival. Rumor has it, he even went as far as shooting off Foolio's girlfriend's finger. In April 2020, Foolio's girlfriend Boobin was driving his car when a shooter drove by and started firing at her and her friend. Boobin tried to drive away and duck from the bullets, but she ended up getting hit in the head and knee and even lost a finger. Rumors said that Leaky was the one who pulled up on her, and his homie Spinabens dissed Foolio over it on the track I Don't Smoke Kendra, with the lyrics reflecting the ongoing violence and retaliation. So these incidents have led people to suggest that they may have some hand in his death. I mean, it is natural for people to think like this, and their reactions say it all. Sandricus May's reaction.
Foolio's mom just revealed on IG that she herself was shot 8 times.
The feisty mom of late rapper Julio Foolio is pissed at the reactions to her son's death and is teasing a tell-all documentary about his life. "Rest in peace, my son," Mays wrote on Instagram before dropping the bombshell about an upcoming doc. Mays hinted that she's keeping it real, unlike other moms, and that she knows the truth about her son's life and the fakes circulating. She threw shade at women who she claims are celebrating her son's death, calling out their hypocrisy. "Don't forget, these women were buying your CDs for their kids," she exclaimed, which also means she is also calling out rappers like Charleston 23KB, etc. Mays also addressed the ongoing feud between groups from Jacksonville and Tampa, suggesting that her son's death resulted from this conflict. Jacksonville Sheriff TK Waters has warned against any retaliation, promising close monitoring of the situation. If you love this video, click on the card on your screen right now for more videos.